Hey, are you excited today? It's Coach Manny again, and we are pumped up and excited. Let's see if we get this camera exactly where we want it there. Wow, I am pumped up and I'm in pink. How's that? Pumped up in pink, huh? Today we're going to talk about leadership, one of my most favorite subjects, and one of the things I think we need more than anything else. This is excuse me. I've probably been talking too much this morning already. Had some great meetings and just pumped up about what's happening. You know, it's the Memorial Day weekend. Of course, we're going to have some fun, and then bam, we're kicking right into the summer, into June, into a top-notch Coach Manny thing going on. So this is Coach Manny. I'm excited as I always am to be with you. This is our weekly hangout, and today we're kind of taking a little bit of a what is it? Detour from sales, but we're not. We're going to talk about leadership. But when you talk about leadership, you're talking about sales, and when you talk about sales, of course, you're talking about leadership. So the two are so close that we've always got to show you leadership. So today, I want to talk about getting things done and getting things done right and getting things done on time and on budget, having a plan, having a purpose. And that, if you're the leader out there of your company, of your division, of your section, of whatever it is, of your family, everyone's a leader somewhere. You need what we have today. And today is a start. We're going to do a long series over the rest of this year, not every week, because we don't like to do the same thing all the time. But we want to just introduce you today to some key elements of leadership and let you go through the weekend pumped up on those and seeing, what am I going to do with these, Manny? How can I apply them to my business? How can I use them? The great Norman Vincent Peale, who I consider a friend and a brother, okay, said big results or big thoughts get big results. So how are you believing today? As you get ready for this weekend, and you know, it always never, it never ceases to amaze me how much people plan for their vacation, plan for their fun, more than they plan for their business sometimes. Are you pumped up? How big are you thinking? I know you're thinking big on the weekend and you're thinking probably big for the summer, but how big are you thinking for your business? Are you pumped up, fired up, and really ready to go? Because that's what I am. Why do you think I come in here all the time? I'm excited. I'm happy. I'm pushing and I'm pushing and I'm pushing because I want you to do it, because so many of us hesitate and are held back by so much. So Norman Vincent Peale said, big thoughts get big results. I really believe it's a law that you'll get no bigger results than your thoughts are big. Wow. And I want you really to grab hold of that. You only get as big as you think you're going to get. We here at Coach Manny, we really started as just a small thing. And I just had a great privilege of having coffee with a good friend of mine. And we were talking about, you got to keep thinking bigger. You're bigger and bigger and bigger. So you're going to watch us. We're going to lead the way by showing you how to think bigger. And we're going to hope each and every one of you are going to follow us along this path. So let's talk about some of those keys to great leadership and effective ways to get results. So the first thing, if you're looking for results, the first thing you need is you need measurement. So let's talk about that measurement. Because without it, you never know if you're getting the results. People say, how you doing? I'm doing great. People always ask you that. How you doing? I'm doing great. How do you know? How do you know you're doing great unless you have some real key elements that you're measuring out there day in and day out? So the first key I want you to concentrate and I want you to focus on today is measurement. So hold on one second. Let me get my little thing here and continue to talk to you, but I need to get, okay. I try to keep my permanent marker away from everything else because I don't want to put it on my board and really mess up. But let me, and I like to do this because it gives you a visual. So number one, this is what you need, measurement. Without measurement, you're never going to know where you are, how you're doing, or any of that stuff. And in sales, if you're a salesperson, most of you probably know measurements because most of you have probably been under some kind of quota system where you got goals and those kinds of things. Now, one of my old bosses used to say, low man goes. We had a big sales team, and every month, the lowest person out. And I used to think that was kind of rude and cruel, but the bottom line is, if you've got, 10 salespeople and you're number 10, what's the chances, unless you're new, now don't get me wrong, what's the chances of you really stepping up and making it happen? And too many times we're too kind. And as entrepreneurs, we're too kind on the sales process. Let me tell you, it's time to push because remember, we are all behind this thing called double your sales, and double your sales is all about moving from being competitive to being dominating. And in order for you to do that, you've got to measure and you've got to be able to make some of those hard decisions. And one of those hard decisions is, I got 10 salespeople and this person is at the bottom of that list. Should I replace them or should I spend the time and effort to try to train them? You have to make that decision. But if you don't have measurements, you don't really have anything to base your decision on. And so many of us make the wrong decisions because we don't have anything to base it on. Okay, let's go to number 2, and I'm going to try to keep these in front of you so you at least have a visual, and maybe we'll put some of them on the, when we send this out we'll use some of these for the advertising. All right, here's number 2, expectations. Wow, and I have done entire seminars just on this one thing. And there was an old guy, I think his name was Brown was his last name. I can't remember. He taught me all about expectations in a seminar I was in one day. But expectations are so key. What do you expect to happen? I see so many times people say, it's not working. I'm not getting what I want. And especially those of you out there who are working with salespeople, who are trying to build a sales process, who are trying to bring salespeople in, and you say, they're not meeting my expectations. Well, I always have to say, what were your expectations? Did they know your expectations? Were your expectations visible to everybody? Because unknown expectations don't exist. So it's a two-way street. And we go through a whole expectation process. If you want more on that, just get a hold of me and I'll give you a couple things you can look at. Too many times the answer is, I don't know what's expected of me and they don't know what's expected of me. So if you're looking to build a sales process out there, the first thing I'm going to tell you is you've got to set up expectations. And the way you set those expectations up is first you ask people, what do they expect from you? And you want to make sure that you can give them what they expect of you. And then you're going to lay out, this is what I expect of you. So now, guess what? You put that on a piece of paper, you sign it, and there's no doubt. When somebody comes along and says, just like our sales example, you expected somebody to sell $300,000 a quarter, and they come in at $28,000. Well, there's really no doubt about what's going on, is there? This is what I expected. This is where you're at. It's okay if you had sold 275 or 280 maybe, but you're way off the expectations. They were very clear. And second of all, my expectations were that if you didn't come into this realm, we would let you go. And that's defined up front so everyone knows. So work on your expectations. Two key pieces we talked about. First of all, you got to have these to set these, right? So there's two. You got to have measurements in order to set expectations. You got to have expectations to drive the measurements. So where do we go from there, Manny? Okay, so I've got some measurements. I've got some expectations. What's next? Well, let me fill out my next card here. The third thing we want to talk about, and this one, for those of you who are not on my list yet and who have not sent me an email saying, I want a copy of your new book, consistency. And yeah, I didn't quite do that well with my penmanship, but I never claimed to be that good. Consistency. We have a new book coming out saying, really, and one of the big parts of the new book are consistency. Consistency. In other words, how consistent are you? Now, what do we mean there? You have to do it all the time. There are certain things that I do every day, and I've built a habit around them. And why do I do them every day? Because I know that by doing them every day, I will achieve the results. You know, the classic example I use is the saving thing that I teach people all the time is if you put $2 in a jar every day, 365 days a year, at the end of a year, you will have $730. Now, if you put $10 in there every day, you will have over $3,000. If you put $20 in a jar every day, and just think about it, those of you making some good money, just throw $20 a day in a jar, you'll have over $7,300 at the end of the year. And guess what? You probably won't even miss it. But why will that happen? Because consistently every day you did it. Now, if you got to do cold calls, you got to do them every day, consistently, always this many at this time or a certain time. Don't do them when you feel like it because we don't feel like it. How many of you, let me honestly ask you out there, how many of you feel like I'm excited? I can't wait to do cold calls. I used to have a guy work for me when I was in the exhibit business. And this guy was one of the best cold callers I ever had. His name was Tom, and he just was good. And he would just persist and call and call and call. And the problem was that was the days when we had the phones that you hang up. And every month I had to get him a new phone because he would beat that thing to death because he would get frustrated at times. But he wouldn't do what he felt like. If he did what he felt like, he wouldn't make the calls. He made the calls. And he made them every day. And he did exceptionally well because he was consistent. If you're trying to penetrate an account every month. When I was in selling consulting services to Fortune 500 and Fortune 1000 companies, every month I called that company. Every month I talked to the CIO. Every month I asked the CIO, can you use something for me? Can I help you? Can I do this for you? And every month, month after month after month, 6 months, 12 months, 18 months. You know what the answer is? No. But finally, Manny, get in here. You've been so darn persistent because I was the only guy left. Everybody else had given up. But I don't give up. And neither do you. And if you can be that consistent, you will be amazed. I mean, just simply amazed at the results you can achieve. All right. So we're going to put this flyer up. Where is it? Let me see if I can pull it up here real quick. I just want to show you the new book because it is so based on consistency that I really got to share this with you. And here it is. All right. Let's see if we can bring it up on the screen and we can grow. We did show this to you, I think, a week or so ago, last time we were together. I think we brought this up. And so what I want to do here is share screen. And where? There it is. And share. All right. What's your excuse? Everyone's got one, and they all stink. Consistency, persistence, and self-discipline. Bang. Those are 3 keys. Now, this book we are going to be giving out initially free. So we're hoping to release either next week, which is the week after Memorial Day 2016, or the week after that. And so if you send me an email saying, I want a copy of the book, What's Your Excuse? I will put you on the list, and we will notify you when it's free so you can actually go out and get your copy. But this is what we're talking about, and this is what consistency drives. And the book is going to be a tremendous tool for you because there's some really good stuff in there, and it can really help you. Okay, so that's consistency. Let's move on. What's the next thing you need? Well, number 5 is after consistency. Yeah, I should have done these beforehand. Usually I do, but I think it's okay to build them as we go along because I'm not sure how far we're going to get today. Is plan. Plan. You need a plan because without a plan, none of this works. Most people don't take the time, effort, or energy to put together a plan. They talk about it all day long. They think about it. They say, you know, that number 1 question when I ask people is, where's your plan? I got it right up here. Bang. Without a plan, you're not getting anywhere. Just like without a roadmap, without a GPS, how are you going to get to your location? You're not. Yes, planning takes time. Planning takes energy. Planning takes effort. But if you want to lead, you got to lead by showing people how to build a plan. Now, you got to get out of that plan into the next step, which is just as critical as the planning. And this is where so many people don't get to. And number 6 in our list is once you got the plan, then you got to take some of this. This is it. This is like the fire. It's like the match that lights the fire is action. And you got to have this. You have to do something. How many times do people just think about it? I'm thinking about it. I'm dreaming about it. Without action, nothing happens. And you can go to company after company. You can talk to entrepreneur after entrepreneur who are doing okay, but they're not taking the action. And then you can look at those companies that are skyrocketing, and you can find one of the most important things on the most successful companies are real simple. What are they? They take action. So I want you to think about that. I want you to take action because if you can take action, man, nothing's going to stop you. Nothing's going to stop you if you can take action. So please don't hesitate. Don't think about it. Take the action. And I'm going to try to get through all 10 of these today because I want you to have them all. The next thing is, and this one is kind of one of those intangibles that people think sometimes, I don't know, is you've got to believe. You've got to believe it's going to happen. You got to believe in yourself. You got to believe that if I'm going out and I'm going to build $1 million business, I believe I can do it. If I'm going out on a sales call with a major prospect, I got to believe I'm going to close that deal. I'm going to bring her home. Because as those of us in sales who have been in sales a long time know that if you don't believe you're going to bring it home, you aren't bringing it home. Come on. That's just the way it happens. I don't know. I remember being on sales calls where I was teaching people how to sell, and they had the deal and they blew it because they didn't believe they had it yet, and they kept right on selling. So you got to believe. Number 7, you got to believe. All right, let's go to number 8. Are you excited yet? I'm glad you're here today. You know, we're here every Friday. Sometimes it's a recording because I have somewhere to go. Sometimes we're live, but we're always here. You can always turn your computer on to this station on Friday at noon, and we will be here. All right, number 8, focus. Focus. How many times do we try to do everything and end up doing nothing? And how many people out there are going to get ticked off and mad at me when I tell you multitasking is dead? Multitasking is an illusion. Multitasking is not real. And even my wife and I argue all the time because she is the world's greatest multitasker, but I don't think so. Even computers. People say, well, computers multitask. No, computers just work so fast, you think they're doing more than one thing at a time. And sometimes people work so fast themselves, you think they're doing more than one time thing, and they're doing this and grabbing that, and but they're not. They're just spinning in circles. So you need that focus. Do a few things. Do one thing at a time. There's a great book out there called One Thing. I want each one of you to try to get a copy of it. That book is really great when it comes to focus. If you're not getting results, it might be that you're stretching yourself too thin. You're trying to do too many things. Give something up and focus on what's really important. Let's go to number 9. Number 9 is you got to delegate. You've got to delegate. You can't do everything. No one does everything well. We all have our gifts. This is what you got to learn. You got to learn how to give it up. And even though you think they can't do it as well as you can, sometimes when we delegate, what we find is the person we give it to, because they're not trying to do everything like we are, they actually can do it and learn to do it and become better than we are. I don't know. I mean, I used to have a young lady that worked for me who was a superstar, and I would give her something, and a week later she would be doing it better than I ever did it. So I started giving her more and more and more because delegation is that important. Now, the one thing that most of us fail to do is number 10. And this is, we fail to celebrate. We fail to acknowledge. We fail to say, Manny, you did a great job. Manny, you did wonderful. We don't celebrate. And why don't we celebrate? I don't know. Why don't we celebrate? We need to celebrate. We need to really talk about what we've done. We need to talk about we did it. We're excited. We made it. We're on top of it. We've accomplished it. Let's celebrate. Give yourself something. Take yourself out. Buy yourself something. The bigger it is, the bigger the celebration, the more excited you can be. When I do something great, I'm going to take off and play some golf, or I'm going to go to the beach, or I'm going to go to a soccer game, whatever. I'm going to reward myself. And that is so important in the area of leadership. It's also important that you do that for others. When someone does something great, they need to celebrate themselves. You need to give them something, but you need to teach them, you just blew your goal away by doing 150% of quota this month. Aren't you excited? What are you doing for yourself? I was just telling somebody the other day that when you reach this goal, what you're really driving to, and you've been holding off on buying your wife a new car, buy her a new car. That's a great thing to do because that's what she really needs, and you've been holding off. So celebrate. Sometimes some of us really get more celebration out of doing something for somebody else. It doesn't matter. Whatever works for you. Now I'm going to give you a number 11, and this is kind of a bonus because this is one of those things that has helped me to be Coach Manny and who I am today and how I got there. And that is, you've got to learn to do lessons learned. When you finish something, you've got to take a few minutes. You've got to sit back. You've got to try to understand, what is it that I learned? What is it that I did well? What is it that I messed up? What is it that I didn't do well? Right? Those are the things, those are the key elements that we all need to celebrate. And we need to learn, figure out, what is it I did well? What is it that I didn't do well? Write it down, document it, keep it there. Because you know what? Sometimes we got to go back and understand. These were 10 things that I think are important for us as leaders and as salespeople. These are 10 things that are going to make a tremendous difference as you move. You know, we're in that goal, right? I mean, that is our goal. I'm going to try to get something for you here because I want to share something with you as we wrap today up. And we're going to start actually trying to do more Q&A. Maybe cut down a little bit on the teaching and do a little bit more Q&A, because I know some of you always have the questions in the box and we never get there. And I don't want to take any more of your time, so I don't really want to intrude on your time. But I know some of you have questions that you would really like to get answers to. And so let me see if I can, in the chat box. There we go. All right. In the chat box there, you have a link now. Now, you know, we're always talking about double your sales, right? And I've run you through 10, 11 things today. And we got a new, okay? We got it put together for you now. We finally got that double your sales product where we think it's most powerful. And that is on our website. So if you take that link and you go over and you look at that web page that's out there, we're going to talk about doubling your sales. And we've got a training process for you. You know, some of you just not ready to make the move to hire me. I want you to go to that link. I want you to look at what's there, because the big thing that's at the end is our product is there. And guess what? We've finally settled in that the price for double your sales training, with 12 videos, with a study guide, with all the tools you need if you want to do this yourself, and you'll be amazed. And I'm not even going to tell you the price. I'm going to tell you to go over there and look at it, because the price is low, and you should get yourself a copy of that. Because if you've been paying attention today, and if you're still on the call with us, you know you are ready to start doubling your sales. And if you want to double your sales, you got to do one of two things. First of all, you either got to buy a tool that's going to help you, or you got to bring in Coach Manny, one or the other. Now, if you're not in a financial position to bring in a Coach Manny, you are in a financial position to get our new course. And it is a great way to start. It will propel you down that path to doubling your sales, and you will be amazed at what happens. So please get a copy of it. You can still come to some of our events. Just some highlights. You know, all 12 pieces are videoed in there. And this new course is going to include group coaching. So again, there's the link on the side. I encourage each and every one of you to get out to the website to get a copy of this course, and then continue to join us every Friday, because we're here. We're here every Friday to help you with whatever we're bringing you, whether we have a guest, whether it's me, whether we're teaching. Wow. So we're going to spend some time on leadership as we move through the summer and the fall, because as a salesperson and as someone who's going after the doubling your business, you need leadership. And you are the leader who's going to have to make that happen. So Coach Manny saying, as always, it's been my pleasure. Please go out, check out our course, whether you buy or not. I'm telling you, you need this course to get started. And look, buy the course. If you decide you're going to hire us, we're going to credit you for the course anyway. But start there. Get started on doubling your sales. Thanks for being with us. Please join us next week as we do another session on helping you to double your sales. Get out there, enjoy the weekend, and create a better world.